Hello, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a physical TBR review because I realized I had never done one of those before, and also I have a lot of ideas coming in December that will require you guys to know what's all on my physical TBR, kind of. So I separated them all out by genres. So we're going to start off with my romance genre. So let's just get started, that way it doesn't take forever, and I know sometimes these videos can be really long, so I'll try and keep it short for you guys. So the first book is by J.C. Burton. It's Housebroke. So basically it's about this millionaire and this woman who thinks he's a house flipper living together, and they're stuck living together with a mirage of rescue dogs. So I saw the dogs and I went immediately yes, because I've never read a romance book that involved dogs. So that's the first book of our romance. Second book is Twisted Hate by Anna Wang. I'm so excited to read this one because I loved the rest of the Twisted series, which is like her Twisted Games and Twisted Love. Twisted Games is her second book, and it was by far my favorite. So I'm really curious to see if this book will top Twisted Games, or if Twisted Games is like top tier out of the whole series. So I know there's a fourth book too, so I will say that. And we also have The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. I've seen this one everywhere, like TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, everywhere. So I'm so excited to read this one because I know it's a really popular one. And also it looks like two like sport romances, and I don't really read a whole lot of sport romances, so a little bit different. So this one is by Ali Hazelwood. It's Love on the Brain. And if you guys wanted synopsises of these, you can totally look them up on Google or Goodreads. I'm just not doing that for the sake of I don't really care for really long videos. Personally, for my phone storage, and also because I know how it feels to be a viewer and watching a 23-minute video. Like, I'll watch a few of those sometimes if I'm really looking for good books, but most of the time it's just like, I like the title, and if I like the cover, I'll go look for it more. Don't judge a book by a cover. Yeah, no, I don't do that. Anyway, this is Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. I loved The Love Hypothesis, and the little snippet that this says, I'll read it to you. B's theory was right. Forcing a scientist to work with her nemesis triggers explosive results. So, I mean, I kind of had to. This one is, moving on, For Twice in My Life by Annette Christie. Is pretty much about, so it says, can one little lie lead to a big second chance? I don't read a whole lot of second chance romances, so I feel like this would be a really good book to read for the second chance romance. I feel like this would be like a good palate cleanser for like my romance category books. So next in my romance category books is Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. I love Tessa Bailey's books. I've read It Happened One Summer and Wreck the Halls. Hook, Line, and Sinker is the second book, I believe, in It Happened One Summer series. There's a series name for them. I don't entirely remember what it is, but I'm so excited. I recommend Tessa Bailey to everyone because she does include spice in her books, but she also includes the romance that she builds between her two characters is so well thought out, and it's so beautiful. It's like, why can't this be real life kind of thing. It's so amazing. I love her writing. And then for the last book, no, not yet, just kidding. So this book is One Star Romance, and I liked it because the synopsis said, a struggling writer is forced to walk down the aisle at her best friend's wedding with the man who gave her book a very public 1-star rating in this fresh romantic comedy. So I'm excited because I feel like this isn't a really popular book, but at the same time it kind of is. I've seen it a few places. So I'm excited to see what this one is because I feel like, I don't know, I can't put it into words. It's like so different, but yet like I feel like it could happen in real life. Like enemies to lovers kind of thing. The last book in my romance area is Hooked by Emily. I'm not going to try and say her last name, but basically think about Peter Pan, but then make Peter and Hook two businessmen, and then the her in this book is Wendy, obviously, but in this case, Wendy is Peter's daughter. It's a romance book. You can tell where this might go. So, for my other readers, the next category of books that we're going to do is what I'm going to call like my miscellaneous pile, because I don't entirely know which genre they go in. So, I know this one's dystopian. It is the fourth book in the Divergent series. I'm really excited because I love 4, and I'm excited to like learn more about his background. And also the movies did such a good casting, and that's now all I can picture whenever I think of 4. So, excited for that. This one is Zodiac by Romania Russell. It's the first book of a series. I got this from my friend, and the back says, at the dawn of time, there was 13 houses in the Zodiac galaxy. Now, only 12 remain. I found that so interesting, and also nobody really talks about this book, so I feel like this book is like a hidden gem. Like, we have 12 Zodiac signs. Why isn't there 13? What happened to the 13th one? So, it's kind of like the Zodiac Academy series, but I have yet to read, but I've heard good reviews about it, so I feel like that's how this one's going to be. So, yay! Anyway, this one is, I believe it's a thriller, My Dearest Darkest by Kayla Cunningham, and basically it's about this city that's like, anything that it's lost, it's like, it keeps things after people lose them, and then this girl visits the city, and then the city's like, actually, we're gonna keep her too. So, I'm excited to see what her adventures include. And also, like, look at all the red. Who's dying? That's what I think every time I see it. This next book is The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. I don't entirely know what this book, I can totally read the synopsis, but I'm not going to. Also, like, it's really, really tiny words. If you can read that, those are tiny words. It just looks aesthetically pleasing, and I've heard good reviews about it. I'm so excited to read it, because I feel like it's a book that I'm gonna love. Also, look at the cover. Yeah. Don't judge a book by its cover. No, that's out the door. The next book is by Matt Haig. It's The Midnight Library. I don't entirely know what genre this goes in, because to me this is like such a unique book. I've seen it everywhere, and people give it such good reviews that I'm like, you know, I'm just gonna dive into this head first without knowing anything. Kind of a bad plan, but I'm here for it. Also, what I'm just now noticing is I think this is supposed to be like a double layered, because, you know, see how it, like, there's like a line here? I keep expecting there to be like the 2 layers, but there's not. So I can't think of a book right now that I have. Do I have a book on my shelf that's 2 layers for now? I don't think so. Oh, I do, but it's in my closet, and I'm not getting that, because I have another bookshelf in my closet, where it's like 2 layers, so you would see what I'm talking about, but I know most of y'all can probably understand. This book is The Selection by Kira Cass. I've heard so many good reviews about this one. A lot of people read it whenever they were in like junior high, older elementary. Yes, I am just now getting to this. Please do not judge me on that. I take my time to get to books. This book you might have seen in my for the library videos. This is Shadow of the Fox by Julie Hagwa. And it says, 1,000 years ago, the great Kami dragon was summoned to grant a single terrible wish, and the land of Iwado was plunged into an ice of darkness and chaos. Oh. I don't know what this is, but this little thing fell out of the book. Just gonna stick that back in there, and I'll discover it again later. So, I do just love finding like little strange things in free little library books, because you never know what you're gonna get in there. These next books, I think I know what genre these go in, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't remember. This one is Ninth House by Lee Verdugo. I love Lee Verdugo so much. Highly recommend the Shadow and Bone series. It's so good. She's such a good writer. I don't even care what genre this is, honestly, because it's by Lee Verdugo. That's how much I love this author. I will just read her book anyway. So, I'll let you know how this book goes and how that goes going in blindly. So this next book is a literary fiction book. It's The Little Village of Book Lovers by Nina George. I'm not entirely sure what this book is a literary fiction book of, but I gotta read you the synopsis. It's like a snippet of it. A young woman with the extraordinary power to bring soulmates together searches for her own true love in this tender lyrical novel. That's so cute. What? I know you've probably seen this on my channel before, but like I'm gonna rave about this book until I read it, and then I might stop. But look at the cover. It's so cute. I'm so excited to read that book, guys. The next book of literary fiction is Straight On Till Morning, so it's also it's a retelling of Peter Pan, definitely on the opposite scale of Hooked from earlier, and it says, what if Wendy first traveled to Neverland with Captain Hook? So, just by that, I was like, yes please, yes ma'am. So, that's this book. I have pretty much all the other Twisted Tales books, so I'm like, that's just like the last one, and that's the only one that I have on my physical TBR. The other ones I still need to go buy. So those will wait a little bit longer. This one is a historical fiction book. It's The Physicist's Daughter by Mary Ann Evans. I am so excited to read this book because whenever I first got into reading historical fictions, the books that I kind of drifted toward, and I've kind of drifted away from them, but this is the last historical fiction book I have on my physical TBR, so I feel like if I read this, hopefully it'll get me back into my historical fiction book because I kind of do miss reading them. This stack that I'm making over here is totally going to topple over eventually. Okay, this I know is also a thriller. This is Their Vicious Games by Joelle Wellington, and pretty much it's about this girl who's at a school on scholarship, and she doesn't quite fit in, and she has to like try her hardest to make sure that she stays in because it says even one slip can cost her everything. So I'm excited to see how her life plays out and how this goes for her. The next is a true crime book, which I've never read before. Well, obviously it wouldn't be on my physical TBR if I had read it before. Anyway, I've never done a true crime book before. This is The Feather Thief by Kirk Wallace Johnson. I'm not entirely sure what this entails, but I was like, it's a true crime book. I feel like I'm gonna like it. And also after reading the synopsis, I'm like, oh, okay, this is interesting, because someone keeps stealing feathers out of a museum, I think, if I remember correctly, which I thought was strange. This next book is The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. This I know is a really popular book, and I feel like it's a hidden gem because I haven't read it before, and not many people talk about it, but I know it is a popular book, and it says, A Forgotten History, a series network of women, a legacy of poison and revenge. Welcome to The Lost Apothecary. That sounds so cool. What? And that's not even like the whole synopsis. That's just like a little bit of it. So I'm excited to read that one. And then, oh, sorry, that's mystery. I don't know if I mentioned that enough. That's mystery. This one's also mystery, and it's One Puzzling Afternoon by Emily Kirchley. I'm so excited to read this one, mostly because I've picked it up so many times to read it. Like, literally, I was this close, like, 2 times, and I didn't. I put it back. So, it's pretty much about this girl, Eddie, and it, like, she has, like, this secret that she's keeping for her friend for over 60 years, and it mentions, like, in 1951, it explains, like, how she got the secret and whatever, and then in 2018, she's 82 now, and she's, like, still living in the same place, still holding on to the same secret. But I want to know what happens. Like, why is she still holding on to it? What's the significance behind it? So, that's that one. So, now we're on to my romantasy section, which I'm so excited for. So, mostly because I see Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros on top. Notice how I didn't even have to look how to say the author's last name. I loved Fourth Wing. Fourth Wing is probably my all-time favorite book ever. I know some people didn't like Fourth Wing. I loved Fourth Wing, okay? Loved it. So I'm so excited for Iron Flame. I can't put it into words how excited for this book I am. Oh, I can't. There's no words are forming. The next book is a Sarah J. Maas book. It's House of Earth and Blood. Just a warning, it is a very big book. I did not realize it was this big of a book when I bought it, because I bought it online. Probably need to do my research next time I buy a book to make sure that it's like, or buy a book online to see how many pages it is. Because this, I was not expecting to pick up the box and go like, oh, you know, so was heavy because I got the first and second book of this because they were on sale. Oops. So I hope I like this book. Speaking of second book, I have the second book of the Akhtar series. I loved the first book, and I've heard the second one is very interesting and takes a totally different turn. So I'm not gonna tell you about this one out of respect for those who haven't read the first book, because I know I wouldn't want to get the first book spoiled because it was really good. So that's this one for now. This one was recommended to me by my best friend. It was Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. Sorry if I talk really fast, that's just kind of my natural over here. So it says, how far would you go for happily ever after? I think it's like another retelling of Beauty and the Beast, which I know I have a few others of that, but it's not like a literary fiction, but that's the feel that it gives off. Like, okay, I see you here. I'm excited to read this book because my best friend raves about this book and absolutely loves this book. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a chance. I'll read it. So now it's here. Another second book I have is The Wicked King, which is the second book of the Cruel Prince series, which you totally need to read the first book because the first book is fire. It's so good. I didn't think it was going to be that good, but it was so good. I'm not going to talk about the second one out of respect for those who haven't read Cruel Prince, which you totally should. So that's this one. Next is Assistant to a Villain, which this is all romantasy, by the way. So if this tells you anything. So basically the synopsis says that this girl Evie is in need of a job desperately, and so this villain has an assistant job opening, and so she takes it, and she may or may not get this little crush on her boss. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, and for the final category is fantasy. There might be like different fantasies, like dark fantasy. Romantasy, I obviously had its own genre, and there's a few other fantasies, but I was like, I'm not about to dissect those. This is fantasy. So the first book is To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christino, and pretty much it's like a Little Mermaid retelling, except it's a siren, and she falls in love with a pirate, I think, and the siren's mom or dad, I don't remember, punishes her and makes her human to go live with the pirate or the human. Or just like a regular human. So that's that book. The next book, as I've mentioned her before, is Crooked Kingdom by Lee Verdugo. It's the second book of Six of Crows. I loved Six of Crows. So it's like my all-time second favorite book, like right next to Fourth Wing. Fourth Wing and Six of Crows are like my Roman Empire. I'm always thinking about them. So as soon as this book came out, I grabbed it. So excited for this book. Oh, like jumping up and down. I love how that book, Six of Crows, I didn't like how it ended, but I love Six of Crows and I still think about it. Anyway, the next book is Breaking Dawn, which is the fourth book of the Twilight series. I know this is total change all of a sudden, but I'm not going to talk much about this book because it is the fourth book of a series. Also, I know I'm late to the train of reading the Twilight books. Please don't judge me. Please do not, because I'm just now getting there. I take a while, okay, people? This next book, fun fact, I got it at Dollar Tree, and it's A Swift and Savage Tide. So basically it's about this Captain Kit Brightling who sets sail for the high seas and a high sorcery in this squashbuckling fantasy series. I didn't know this was a series when I bought it because it doesn't say like book 1 or anything anywhere. So, and I have yet to see like book 2. So we'll see how this one goes. We'll see. This next book is Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. My aunt recommended this one to us, like me and my best friend, because she's like, it involved pirates and dragons and princesses and a bunch of these other things, and I'm like, okay, so right up our alley. So I have this book, and then if I really, really like it, then I'm going to buy it for my friend for Christmas or her birthday. So I'm so excited for this one because it gives off such a good vibe. Okay, and the last book that we're going to do today is the last book on my physical TBR is Legend Born by Tracy Deonn, and it says, some legacies are meant to be broken. So basically, I think it's about this 16-year-old girl who her parents die, and she somehow then gets powers. I don't entirely remember, but then it's like her life